Yeah, my video introductions aren't getting any better, are they? So, welcome to my unscripted thoughts video about Revolution of the Daleks. Expect a lot of incoherent rambling because that's what I'm known for now, I guess. I probably would have liked to have gotten this video out a bit sooner, but, you know, scheduling and stuff. So, we're going to see if I can make this nice and quick, or as quick as I can with these episode thoughts videos. I know they tend to go on a bit sometimes in previous ones that I've done. I've got a few notes here, and plus anything else I just sort of think off the top of my head. And I think we'll just use those as talking points. So yeah, let's go. Well, firstly, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a bit of a disappointment. I really enjoyed it overall, but I have to say, given that it was 10 months exactly between the Timeless Children and this episode, yeah, I think a lot of people were just expecting something a bit more than this. Especially because it was a Dalek story as well, and it was meant to be a festive special. I think people were expecting a lot more. It was kind of small scale, actually. Yeah, that's my first note there, actually. Small scale. You know, from the title and from parts of the trailer and other little tidbits of information that we got here and there over the last year or so, you know, I think we were all expecting like a huge, massive scale Dalek Civil War type story, which we kind of got for about 7 minutes of the episode, and then it was resolved. So yeah, in that regards, I was a little bit disappointed. Maybe it's my own fault for expecting like a full-scale Dalek Civil War, the same style that they had during the 3 80s Daleks stories, although they had 3 whole classic serials to span that out across, whereas this has 75 minutes and a lot to cram in. I think really I just had my hopes set a bit too high, as did a lot of people. Kind of a silly mistake to make considering we're in the Chibnall era, but you know. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think it was a pretty good episode. I quite enjoyed it. I tend to have much lower standards than most people seem to have about this era of Doctor Who, so maybe that's why I enjoy it more than some people. I don't know. Questions science still can't answer. But yeah, anyway. The stuff in the prison, I think, was kind of underused. It was kind of fan-service-y, I thought, in the cage with all the other monsters. Not too fan service. I think it was like just the right amount of fan service. You know, we got a Weeping Angel, there's a Ting, an Ood, and a Sycorax, and a Silent. Honestly, didn't think we'd be seeing a Silent on screen again anytime soon, so that was really something. Quite enjoy seeing all those little aliens in the cages in the prison. That was a nice bit of fan service. Although the prison, like I said, was kind of underused. I don't know. I felt like there's a bit of a catch-22 with the whole prison situation. Like, well, I don't know actually. I think there's a couple of things that could be considered something of a catch-22 in this episode. I think with the prison, on one hand, it was nice to see Jack breaking the Doctor out of prison, which I think a lot of people sort of speculated and predicted would happen. That was one of the highlights of the episode, I think. But on the other hand, a lot of people wanted the Doctor to be in prison for at least half the episode, maybe even more. Would have given the companions and Jack some time to shine on Earth, where they're trying to fend off the Daleks while the Doctor's still stuck in prison, and it's only when it gets really beyond their control that they have to figure a way of getting her back to Earth to, you know, help them sort it out. But of course that didn't happen, and by the 20-minute mark, I'm pretty sure it was, they're already back to the old regular team sorting out stuff situation thing. Yeah, amazingly, I did pass English at school. It doesn't come across in my videos, does it? I mean, on one hand, I feel like they should have kept the Doctor and the companions apart a bit longer, but on the other hand, I feel like that may have created some other problems. But yeah, I don't know really, it is what it is, it could have gone either way. I mean, the Daleks were done really well in this, those aren't on my notes, I'm just going to ramble about them for a couple of minutes off the top of my head. I really like the Daleks in this. Still kind of sick of seeing the Bronze Daleks after all this time, but at least we've had a bit of a break from that particular design, so, you know, that's something. The whole backstory to the new Daleks, really like that. Jack Robinson actually having some good ideas for once, in that he wants this Dalek mutant, the character Leo, grew to be destroyed. Probably the only actually good decision Robertson's ever made in the whole universe, to be honest. But yeah, of course that doesn't happen, and it starts going all, I control you now. Yeah, I just did that. But yeah, what we got with the Daleks, I think they did them really well. I like the whole build up towards it as well. Them being used as defence drones for the British government after they sort of salvaged the burnt out tech from the old reconnaissance Dalek back in Resolution. Yeah, the whole way they've handled that I think was really good. Although the whole Revolution / Dalek faction civil war bit was a bit underdone. Honestly, I feel like they kind of ran out of time by that point. They spent so long building it up, they kind of forgot to balance it out in the second half of the episode and actually give us more of the meaty stuff. I like how there's, I think it is like a deliberate little nod to the old 80s Dalek Civil War with the newer Earth-built AI Daleks, the defense drone ones, having a voice that sounds more like the what they call the Imperial Daleks from the Revelation and Remembrance of the Daleks. That sounded almost exactly like their voices at some point, especially during the bridge scenes before they start shooting at each other. Appreciate the little detail there, Chibbers. Yeah, the way the Bronze Daleks are defeated in this as well, it's kind of silly and a bit dumb, but also quite clever. It's just a very Doctor Who-y way of solving the problem. Lead them all into a fake TARDIS and then just have the TARDIS basically commit suicide to kill them. Well, yeah, anyway, stuff with Robertson and the Daleks overall I think was done pretty well. Moving on. So let's just talk a bit about Jack next. Well, overall, throughout most of the episode, really good having Jack back. No complaints there. I do feel like he was a little bit underused at times though. He did kind of just blend into the background with all the other companions and fill out the whole useless companion role, if I'm being a bit harsh at times. Yeah, overall stuff with Jack, mostly really good, but a couple of nitpicks. A bit strange how they didn't give him a proper goodbye scene. He's just talking over the TARDIS intercom to the Doctor in the last scene, and we never see him actually say bye. I like the little reference to Gwen though. Another thing I'm really disappointed they didn't do is have Jack get killed and revived. That's kind of his thing. When they're about to escape the Daleks, when he says, "Hi, I'm Captain Jack, I'm immortal," that would have been the perfect opportunity to have him get shot just as they're teleporting out and then have him jump back up again, back on the TARDIS or where it was they went. It was the TARDIS. They didn't even do that once! So yeah, you can take a point off the episode for that at least. One thing you'd be expecting them to do with Jack in an episode, they don't even do it! I mean, that was one of my biggest disappointments, that they didn't kill Jack even once. Oh, that's another thing as well. When Jack and Yaz go off on their own to the factory in Japan, and they get attacked by the Dalek mutants, that would have been a perfect time to have had them gotten killed by one of those things, and maybe Yaz can fight them off, or maybe Yaz is about to get killed by a couple of them, and then Jack revives and saves her. That would have been perfect. I know for a fact I'm not the only one that thinks that scene would have been perfect for a Jack death / revival thing. I probably talked way too long on that one point that I'm really bugged about. Yeah, but I think you'll get my thoughts on that, so let's just move on to the next thing. I guess I should talk about Ryan Graham's departure as well. In itself, I think it was a pretty well done departure scene. Considering these two characters, Ryan especially, have been, well, let's just say widely considered difficult to get invested in by the fan base, we're going to put it mildly. Considering they haven't been the best written characters and people haven't really grown that attached to them from what I've heard, I think they still handled the departure about as well as they could have done. I'm kind of annoyed with New Who for always having the companions leave in some tragic way or die. I kind of miss the old days of the classic show where sometimes they would leave under horrible circumstances or even die occasionally, but a lot of the times they just sort of have enough and just leave on their own accord. I wish they'd do that more in New Who. So on one hand it's nice to have a couple companions just have a regular departure for a change, but on the other hand going down the depressing route, possibly even death for one of them, or maybe even two of them, may have had more emotional weight. But I don't know, I'm no expert. Yeah, I think they handled it pretty decently at least, so there you go. Oh yeah, I guess I better talk about the whole little John Bishop reveal teaser that came after the episode as well. They kept that pretty bloody hush-hush. There was everyone thinking we were going to have the first ever all-female TARDIS team for a series, or two perhaps, and turns out they're going to have another companion introduced as soon as they get rid of the other two. I feel like I would have preferred it if it was just 13 and Yaz for Series 13, and then in Series 14, then they could introduce a new companion. Maybe with Yaz still staying on for a fourth series as well, possibly not. So yeah, that's one way they could have gone with it. Yeah, I mean, from the 2 seconds of those shots that we saw from Series 13 with John Bishop's Dan character being the new companion now, officially announced on BBC's social media and all that lot. From those few seconds we did see, I think it's actually it looks pretty good. I've got high hopes for that, which might not be a good idea to do, but what the hell, I'll do it anyway. So it seems we're going from a 4-person to a 3-person TARDIS team instead. Still, maybe not ideal from a writing perspective in the New Who format, but I mean, one Doctor and two companions should be at least a bit easier to juggle around in episodes than a one Doctor, three companion crew, so it's a step forward, shall we say. But yeah, I think overall Revolution of the Daleks, yeah, pretty good. I think I probably liked it more than most. From what I've seen about other people's opinions online, it does seem to be generally a mixed bag type of episode, but I liked a lot more in it than I didn't. I think that's probably all I'll say in this video. I'm sure I'll think of other things that I could have said in the weeks to come, but unfortunately I can't go forwards in time, pluck out random thoughts of mine and insert them into videos of my past, so yeah. I can't remember if I give scores to episodes in these videos. I think I've done on a couple of them, but generally I don't. Well, if I'm going to give it a score, I'll give it a 7. Maybe a little bit generous in some people's opinions, but I don't know, I think it's pretty well deserved overall. Anyway, there was a surprisingly coherent, by my standards anyway, thoughts video / review of Revolution of the Daleks. But yeah, well, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to comment below any thoughts you have about the episode, any agreeing / disagreeing you may have with anything I said in this video. Yeah, first video of 2021. Not sure what's going to be coming up next. I might be a bit slow going for the first month or two of this year on this particular channel. Anyway, just keep an eye out. See you in the next video, and bye. Anything I can use to make a funny little joke before the end of the video? No. Right. Well, this guy's called Gerald. He's a plushy goat. That's the best you're going to get out of me, so good day.